Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Great Malabite, good morning. We have a special person for you this morning.
Good morning, Rufai. Welcome back. Yes. The well-rested, refreshed, ever-radiant Victoria Tundu MKO Abiola. You're welcome.
Mr. Efeni, you just hit a home run. You're like Tom Brady this morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, let's start the review with this day. Nigeria's newspaper of records. The lead story: CBN investigate cryptocurrencies, companies, bank accounts for fraud. Insists restrictions to safeguard Nigerians' financial system. List inherent risk to block accounts with suspicious transactions. BDC operators groups back Emefiele on transactions ban. Yes, the CBN has opened investigation into companies involved in the trading of cryptocurrencies with the intention of blocking those with suspicious transactions and fraud. Does that mean those found to be doing legitimate business, if you will be given some reprieve? Well, left to be seen. But CBN is doing that to safeguard Nigerians and the financial system. Not everybody will agree with that. I'm sure we'll get the input of a former deputy governor of central banks right on the morning show today. Now, we move on to other stories. The Daily Sun newspaper. Headers crisis may lead to civil war, according to Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka is warning. Says Buhari's silence gives impression he is complicit. Yakasai denied hunger, blast Nobel laureate. Middle Belt Forum, PRP back him. Yes, Wole Soyinka has come out again to make that statement. The headers crisis is taking a new dimension if we read the Vanguard newspaper's lead story. Vanguard: criminal headsmen have begun guerrilla warfare in Yoruba land. That, according to Agbekoya and Afenifere, stop using false social media in security situation, marking this age. Don't harbor strangers. Ogumona cautions subjects. War is at the door. Afenifere, yes, Agbekoya. A statement released, signed by the Agbekoya Farmers Association. Statement signed by Chief Olatunji Bandele, the secretary of the Agbekoya, is saying criminal herdsmen have begun guerrilla warfare in Yoruba land. And Yika Odumaki, who will also be on this program, is also saying war is at the door in Yoruba land. Well, he will be here to explain more on that. The Nation newspaper: rampaging bandits killed 19 in raid on 2 councils. Houses, shops, church burnt. Troops gunned down 52 in Zamfara forest. The spate insecurity still dominating this space. Now, the Daily Times of Nigeria, well, underneath the photograph there, still on this herdsman attack, Orion farmers lament loss of 577 million.
Emmanuel Efeni, sorry to interrupt you. We'll take a quick commercial break and then we'll come back and talk some more. Welcome back to the morning show here on the Arise News channel. Still with us is Emmanuel Efeni, who has been reviewing top stories in today's newspapers from around the world. Efeni, back to you.
Yes, we're looking at the Daily Times of Nigeria. The Daily Times newspaper, I just referred you to the story under the photograph about headers attack in Orion local government area of Edo State. where 577 million naira worth of farm produce have been destroyed in the course of herdsmen attacks. Neighboring Delta State has similar problem, but the lead story of Daily Times, World Bank tax on electricity projects in Nigeria, 500 million naira fresh aid. Yes, Nigeria has secured $500 million World Bank aid for the electricity sector. But SERAP is saying that, look, we need to, that this World Bank must also monitor how Nigeria spend that money so that it goes into improving the electricity sector, as it were. While the Daily Times, no, the Guardian newspaper, Nigeria's The Guardian newspaper, has the lead story. Government needs 2 trillion naira to immunize over 200 million Nigerians. May spend 921.2 billion on 140 million people in 2022. Logistics, 3 times cost of procuring vaccine, says Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. Engage consultant public health pharmacies to reduce costs. Yes, on this program sometime last week, former governor of Anambra State, Governor Obi, said what Nigeria is projecting is too expensive. It can be done at a lower cost. Now, something that will go up whether you like it or not. The Punch newspaper, petrol price may hit 190 naira as oil nears $60. Yes, different stakeholders are projecting. Moman, one of the groups in petroleum marketing, saying, so we know that depending on what exchange rate you use, the pump price should be between 185 and 200 naira per liter. While the IPMAN, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, are saying, but now that oil price has gone to $59, then pump price shouldn't be less than 200 naira per liter. But the NMPC is saying it is premature to make such projections at this point. Well, we'll see how it pans out. We'll be watching the oil market. We enjoy when the price of crude goes up because it means more money for Nigeria as a country. But if we're refining our products, I'm sure this conversation will take a different turn. Now, the foreign newspaper, quickly, The Times of UK, autumn jab to ward off new strains of COVID-19. Yes, millions of people are likely to need a third vaccine dose this year as the minister stepped up plans to boost a jab against new variants of COVID-19, and the NHS hope that the extra doses can be given at the same time as winter flu jabs in the autumn. Now, the Daily Mail newspaper, illegal migrants vaccine amnesty. Yes, illegal immigrants will be granted an amnesty to come forward for coronavirus. Of course, the unprecedented move is aimed at helping Britain to reach herd immunity and accelerate the easing of lockdown. But that does not mean those illegal immigrants can now access other rights. But the Guardian newspaper has a story. The Queen lobbied for change in law to hide her wealth. That's according to documents dug out by the Guardian newspaper from the archives, that the Queen successfully lobbied the government to change a draft law to conceal her embarrassing private wealth from public, according to these documents. Ruben Rufai and the beautiful Tundu.
I mean, I'm not surprised that the Queen has done that. In fact, we've seen many things by the royal family. We'll give them the respect they need or they deserve, but it goes back to that argument that Oliver Cromwell made in the 1600s when Britain became a republic as regards, the continuation of monarchy. And ask yourself that question. I don't have qualms with the Queen having private wealth. What I have qualms with is is she ready to pay some taxes too on those private wealth? Because she's getting a lot of...
She does pay taxes now.
But she's getting some exceptions too. And why should the British Commonwealth and people too give her money to do some of her parties and things and run her when she has a private wealth? Anyway, she's 90-something anyway, and the Queen can't live 20 years on earth again. But it goes back to the long line of British hypocrisy we always see. Anyway.
My issue is where the wealth came from.
Where the wealth came from.
Remember the days of the British Empire? That wealth
is
came
it not from us? Is it not from Africa? Is it not our wealth?
That's my issue.
You remember the sun never set on the British Empire. That's it. So it came from us. So if possible, they should too try to repatriate some of this. That conversation can go on and on. But please, concerning Nigeria, I call for peace. Wole Soyinka was a dramatist persona in what led to the first civil war. If Wole Soyinka is saying that this might lead to a war, I am afraid. Let's be careful.
Well, quickly.
Robert.
Yes. One story that I find interesting is the front page of Daily Mail in London, saying that illegal migrants are now being encouraged to come forward. Yes, you've summarized the story, but you left out one important part of it. Now, if you're an illegal migrant in the UK and you go and register with a GP to take the jab, the Home Office will just look the other way. Well, I don't know how many people who do not have the right papers in the UK who will trust that the Home Office will not come after them.
It's a promise. It's a promise.
Because that would be a voluntary way of going to announce your illegal presence in the United Kingdom. But that's an idea of ensuring that more people are inoculated. Well, it makes sense in principle. As at this moment in the UK, over 12 million people have been able to get the first dose, and that's quite a lot. And they're hoping that they will do a lot more. And most people above 80, above 70, above 60, they've been covered, which is quite commendable considering the seroprevalence in the United Kingdom. But to come home to Nigeria, that story on the front page of Punch, which you referred to.
Yes, petrol price may hit 190 naira as oil near $60.
Yes, what the major oil marketers are saying, which you quoted, is that by now the pump price of fuel should be about between 185 naira and 200 naira. And indeed, last year, when in December 2020, the government took the step of reducing the pump price by, I think, was it 4 naira? People were shocked because as at that time, there had been a slight increase in the spot price of Brent crude. And people had expected that at least twice the template would have been changed and Nigerians would have needed to pay more at the fuel stations. But that has not happened. Because if that had happened, it would be consistent with the position of the Minister of State for Petroleum, Chief Timipre Silva, that we are now operating a full deregulation regime and the market forces will determine the pump price of fuel. But what I see is that, this is a very sensitive issue. If you ask Nigerians to begin to pay 200 naira or more, then, of course, it could have serious implications for social stability, peace and all of that. So the point now is that it looks like, although we're talking about full deregulation, we're still operating a subsidy regime.
So we expect NMCC to report on the recovery again?
And one question that the major oil marketers are asking, if there is subsidy, where is that subsidy coming from? When we've been told that it's not in the budget, it's not included in the budget.
We've run out of time, but I wanted to say that the UK's policy is humane, and Israel would do well to copy that with the Palestinians. I'm really not impressed with their vaccine rollout because of its inequities.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And somebody has to tell Israel the truth, and they should face their music at the ICC.